Ladies and gentlemen, the difference between a life of purpose and a life of regret is often just a decision away. Habits, those simple, consistent actions, shape our destiny more than any single moment of inspiration. In just 7 days, with the right focus and intention, you can set a new course for your life. Today, we're not just talking about change, we're talking about transformation from the inside out. Have you ever noticed how your day begins often determines how it ends? Most people wake up reacting to noise, to messages, to chaos. But greatness doesn't rise in a rush. It rises with intention. Your morning is your launch pad, and how you start sets the trajectory for everything that follows. Successful people don't stumble into powerful mornings. They create them. Before the world demands your time, your focus, your energy, give it first to yourself. A purposeful morning isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's waking up with a why. It's taking the first 30 minutes, not to scroll, not to panic, but to align your mind, your emotions, and your decisions with your vision. Speak to yourself. Before the world speaks to you, ask the questions. What do I want today to produce? Who do I need to become today to get one step closer to where I'm going? What am I grateful for? And what must I leave behind from yesterday? These questions sharpen your focus, anchor your emotions, and prepare your spirit for progress. You see, it's not just about waking up early, it's about waking up ready, ready to lead, ready to grow, ready to manage your energy, not just your time. Because a day that starts in purpose ends in results. Even 5 intentional minutes of silence, clarity, planning, or just breathing can shift your mindset from scattered to centered, from reactive to strategic, from overwhelmed to in control. Most people live their day by accident, but high-impact individuals live their day on purpose. That's the power of a purposeful morning. Now ask yourself, how much of your life is being wasted simply because your mornings are unplanned? If you can control your morning, you can command your day. And if you can command your day, you can begin to shape your future. But there's something else that builds on this foundation, something that turns your purpose into progress and your ideas into impact. It's the difference between desire and destiny. Are you ready to discover it? Discipline is the master key that unlocks potential. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it works. While motivation is fleeting, discipline is dependable. Motivation may wake you up, but discipline gets you moving, even when you don't feel like it. Everyone wants transformation, but few want the structure it requires. And here's the truth: success does not respond to desire, it responds to discipline. Dreams are easy to have, but discipline is what brings them to life. You can write the vision, you can make the plan, you can talk the talk, but without consistent action, it remains an illusion. Discipline means doing what you must, not just what you want. It means making decisions today that protect your tomorrow. It's waking up early when you don't want to, saying no when it's easier to say yes, showing up when no one is watching, because you're not living for applause, you're living for results. What separates those who talk from those who build is consist. Every great leader, every high performer, every person who leaves a mark has mastered the art of doing the right thing over and over until excellence becomes automatic. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. It's not about how many times you feel weak, it's about how often you get up strong. Discipline is the difference between movement and momentum, between intentions and impact. And yes, discipline will cost you, but the cost of regret is always greater. The pain of growth is always lighter than the pain of missed potential. So the question is, what are you willing to give up to go up? Because once you start honoring discipline, you begin to respect your own word. You begin to trust your own voice. You stop negotiating with procrastination, and you start building with purpose. But there's more, something deeper. Because it's not enough to just act. You must act with vision. Discipline without direction becomes drudgery. So what gives your discipline meaning? What fuels your action? In the next step, we uncover the missing link that gives your daily habits power and your discipline clarity, ready to unlock it. There's a difference between having sight and having vision. Sight is what your eyes, vision is what your mind sees, what your heart believes, what your future demands. And if you're only living by what you see, you'll always be limited by your current reality. You are not meant to be guided by what is, but by what can. Vision pulls you forward. It stretches you beyond your environment, your circumstances, your limitations. It gives purpose to your discipline, clarity to your actions, and meaning to your sacrifices. Without vision, people settle, they tolerate instead of transform, they react instead of respond. But when vision becomes clear, decisions become easier. You begin to measure your choices not by convenience, but by alignment. You stop chasing everything and start focusing on what truly matters. Vision gives pain a purpose, it gives struggle a reason. It turns every obstacle into opportunity, because you're not living for now, you're building for next. When you carry a vision, you walk differently, you speak with intent, you protect your time, you value your energy. But here's the secret: vision must be protected, it must be nurtured, because the world is noisy, and if you don't protect your vision, distractions will dilute it, people will question it, doubt will attack it. But vision that is fed daily grows stronger daily. Ask yourself, what do I see when I close my eyes? What future is calling me forward? What version of me is waiting to emerge? If I would only commit to the process. Vision is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Because without it, discipline becomes a grind. Habits lose meaning. Life becomes a cycle instead of a journey. But with vision, real vision, your days become chapters, your choices become investments, and your actions begin to shape a legacy. Now that you've tapped into vision, there's one more tool that will multiply your growth and sharpen your journey even faster. It's something most ignore, but those who master it, they accelerate their transformation. Do you want to know what it is? Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by awareness. And the fastest way to grow is through self-reflection. Not once a year, not once a month, but daily. Because if you don't pause to evaluate your life, you might be speeding in the wrong direction. Every day brings lessons. Every moment carries insight, but only the reflective mind captures them. The question is, are you so busy doing that you've forgotten to be? Self-reflection is the habit of champions. It's how you turn experience into wisdom. It's where you ask, what worked today? What didn't? What did I learn and what do I need to leave behind? When you reflect, you don't just remember, you realign. You reconnect with your vision. You correct your course before bad habits become patterns. Most people repeat the same day for years. They change their clothes, their jobs, even their relationships, but never change themselves. Why? Because they never stop long enough to ask the hard questions. The right question. Reflection brings clarity, and clarity brings power. When you know who you are, where you're going, and what's getting in the way, you become unstoppable. You stop blaming and start building. You stop guessing and start growing. It's in those quiet moments, when the noise dies down, that you begin to see yourself. And when you see yourself honestly, you can change yourself intentionally. The person who reflects daily becomes wiser weekly, stronger monthly, and unstoppable yearly. But here's the secret: reflection is not about guilt, it's about growth. It's not about reliving mistakes, it's about learning from them. And when you learn, you elevate. You rise above old habits, old thinking, and old limits. Take 5 minutes, sit with yourself, ask, did my actions reflect my values today? Did I honor my vision, or did I drift? These small questions produce big breakthroughs. And once you develop the habit of daily evaluation, your awareness becomes sharp, your choices become wiser, and your growth becomes inevitable. But awareness is only half the equation, because now, you must learn to master what is often misused, wasted, or ignored. And this next habit, it determines whether your vision becomes a reality, or just another dream left undone. Time is the most valuable asset you will ever have. Not money, not connections, not even talent. Because time, once it's gone, it never returns. You can recover a job, you can rebuild a business, but you can't rewind a minute. The truth is, we all get the same 24 hours. But what separates those who rise from those who remain stuck. It's not luck, it's not background, it's how they use their time. Some invest it, others waste it, some schedule it with purpose, others let it slip through distractions, entertainment, and indecision. Time doesn't lie, it always tells the truth about what you value. Look at where your hours go, and you'll discover what you truly prioritize. Are you building, or are you just busy? Are you moving toward your vision, or just spinning in circles? Mastering your time is not about cramming your calendar, it's about owning your moments, being intentional, saying yes to what aligns with your future, and saying no to what drains your purpose. You can't manage life if you can't manage time, and you can't multiply results if you can't multiply focus. Plan your day before the day begins. Protect your mornings, guard your focus like gold, and eliminate the thieves, those little distractions, those endless notifications, those unimportant tasks, dressed up like urgency. Not everything that screams for your attention deserves your energy. You don't need more time, you need more clarity. When you know your vision, your priorities become obvious. And when your priorities are clear, your time becomes powerful. One focused hour is worth more than 10 distracted ones. Ask yourself, where did my time go today? Did it serve my goal? Did it reflect my discipline, my vision, my reflection? Because time is a mirror, it reflects what's really happening on the inside. And if you want to live a transformed life, you must begin treating every moment like it matters. Because it does. Every second is either building your dream or someone else's. But there's something even more subtle, more personal, and more powerful than time. Something that controls how you handle pressure, how you deal with people, and how you lead your own mind. Ready to confront. Emotions are powerful. They can build or they can break. They can push you forward or pull you off course. And here's the truth. Most people don't lead their emotions lead them. But if you want to transform your life, you must develop emotional discipline. It's not about denying how you feel, it's about managing how you respond. Because how you react in the moment can cost you a day, a relationship, an opportunity. Emotional discipline means you don't allow temporary feelings to make permanent decisions. You can feel fear and still move forward. You can feel anger and still respond with wisdom. You can feel frustration and still choose peace. That's power. That's leadership. Not over others, but over yourself. When your emotions are in control, your focus sharpens, your communication becomes clear, your relationships strengthen. Because people don't follow emotion, they follow stability. And stability starts with the ability to remain steady, even when everything around you shakes. Don't let your emotions write checks. Your discipline can't count. Because your future doesn't need drama, it needs direction. And when you master your emotional world, you become predictable in your purpose. No more roller coasters, no more highs followed by crashes, just steady progress, built on emotional intelligence. Ask yourself, what triggers me? What throws me off course? What emotions keep hijacking my decisions? When you know your emotional patterns, you can retrain them. You can pause instead of react. You can reflect instead of explode. You can choose, and in that choice lies your freedom. Emotional discipline doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become clear. It means you protect your energy, preserve your peace, and stay aligned with your vision, even when you're under pressure. Because real power isn't loud, it's not reactive, it's quiet, it's calm, it's control. And when you can carry peace in a storm, you've already won. But even emotional mastery isn't enough if your environment keeps pulling you backwards. Because the next step in your transformation isn't just about what's in you, it's also about what's around you. Ready to change the atmosphere that shapes your habits. Environment shapes behavior. You can have vision, discipline, emotional strength, but if your environment works against your growth, it will slow you down or even pull you backward. You don't just rise to the level of your habits, you rise or fall to the level of your environment. Who are you surrounded by? What are you listening to? What kind of atmosphere are you breathing in daily? Growth doesn't survive in toxic soil. You can't plant a seed in concrete and expect it to flourish. You need the right conditions. Some of you aren't stuck because you lack potential. you're stuck because you're planted in the wrong place. The conversations around you are small. The energy around you is negative. The people around you don't challenge you, they contain you. And sometimes the most powerful move isn't forward, it's out. Out of circles that shrink you, out of spaces that suffocate vision, out of cycles that repeat limitation. You need environments that speak to your next, not just your now. Environments that challenge your thinking, elevate your standards, and protect your purpose. When you step into the right atmosphere, your energy changes, your thinking expands, your actions align. You start to believe differently, behave differently, and ultimately, become different. It's not just about people, it's also about what you allow into your space, the content you consume, the words you hear, the habits you observe. Every environment is either feeding your growth or feeding your comfort, and comfort never creates transformation. Ask yourself, does my environment reflect where I'm going, or where I've been? Does it stretch me, or does it sedate me? Because what surrounds you eventually gets inside you, and what gets inside you starts to lead you. You don't need a perfect environment, you need an intentional one, a space where growth is normal, purpose is protected, and excellence is the standard. That one shift, changing what's around you, can unlock everything inside you. But here's the final step, because even with the right habits, the right mindset, and the right surroundings, there's one person you must lead before you can lead anyone or anything else. And that person is you, ready to step into your highest level of leadership. The greatest leadership is self-leadership, because before you lead a team, a business, a family, or a community, you must first lead yourself. And let me tell you, that's the hardest person to lead. Why? Because you can't lie to yourself for long. You live with your choice. You know your excuses. You feel your patterns. Self-leadership is about mastering the unseen, the inner conversations, the private decisions, the choices you make when no one's watching. It's not about position, it's about posture. The posture of discipline, of vision, of integrity. The posture of someone who refuses to betray their own potential. When you lead yourself well, your actions align with your values. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. You stop blaming circumstances and start owning results. You stop waiting for motivation and start moving with intention. Self-leadership means setting the standard for yourself. You don't cut corners. You don't look for shortcuts. You don't settle. You rise. You raise the bar, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Because you understand your life is not built in a single decision, but in daily disciplines. You lead yourself by asking the hard questions. Am I being honest with me? Am I growing, or just going through the motions? Am I becoming the person I promised myself I would be? True self-leadership is quiet, but it's powerful. It shows up in how you talk to yourself, how you show up when you don't feel like it, how you manage your time, your emotions, your focus. It's how you show the world, without saying a word, that you take your life serious. Because when you lead yourself well, everything else begins to align. You become someone people can trust, someone goals can rely on, someone purpose can partner with. And if you do this, if you apply these habits, one day at a time, you won't just change your week, you'll change your life. You'll begin to walk in clarity, live with purpose, and move with power. So now the question is, what will you do today that your future self will stand up and thank you for? Your transformation doesn't begin someday, it begins now.